well, a podcast called Titans of the Fantastic. I'm here with Mr. J. Christopher Wilson. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am good. Look, I gotta ask you, I was just remarking before we started, this looks really good.
Yes.
Really, really good.
So the artists, we wanted an illustrated book. And so the artist did illustrations at the beginning of every chapter, and then he's also the one that did the cover design. So he designed all of this. And, I found that a lot of independent authors will try to do that themselves, or there's a lot of sites where you can go and get canned art that's kind of already built, and you can buy it and then make but I don't like it. It doesn't look, it doesn't look professional to me. So we had the artist do the cover, hand drawn, and I like it much better. And the cover is what'll sell your book.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, listen. Now, you've been writing for a while.
Right, years.
When you were younger, what books did you gravitate towards?
Okay, well, I didn't really like reading as a kid. It wasn't. There were certain things that happened that kind of made me get into reading. Mm-hmm. But as a kid, when I was her age, I struggled to read. It made no sense to me. I could read a page and then forget what I read. It was really hard for me. But I liked making up stories in my head and play acting and things like that. And I think that's where all the writing came from. The actual reading was really hard. I took a class in high school, an English class, and I had this fantastic teacher. We read Huckleberry Finn, and he deconstructed it for us. He showed us what things meant. That made a huge difference to me. I understood it. Even though I struggled to read, after we talked about it, it made sense. It made the story come alive for me. But it really wasn't. I didn't really become a lifelong reader until I was an adult and started reading comics. And I was getting to where I was buying $60, $80, $100 of comics a month. And my wife was like, "You have to stop that. We cannot afford that." But I was reading every day. Yeah. And that's when I realized, okay, because I'm a teacher as well, fifth grade teacher, and that's when I realized this is how we get kids who struggle to read to learn to read. Give them comics. So I've got 2,000 or so comics in my classroom, and I teach kids to read that way. But it's not really about reading, it's about the love of story. Yeah. And if I get them to fall in love with story, then I can get them to enjoy reading.
Well, what stories do you usually recommend?
So whatever they like. Now that I'm not being glib about it, we know from research that kids who read a lot, it's because they have choice. When kids don't have choice in what they read, they often won't read. But if you just pick and read, they get to choose, they'll read more. And so I want them to read whatever. Fantasy's pretty popular. Yeah. I have a lot of fantasy, traditional books and comics in my classroom. And that tends to be what kids like a lot. Realistic fiction goes pretty well. And then we notice that a lot of boys particularly enjoy nonfiction, sports, facts, things like that. Yeah.
Now, what made you want to write your first book?
Well, I fell into that. I used to be a newspaper editor. I managed a newspaper, so I've been writing for years and years. When I decided to become a teacher, I started writing a lot about comics and education. And I would review the comics. I have a website for it. And publishers got to where they were just sitting with comics. Please just read it, because there weren't a lot of people writing about comics and education. But that's all academic. A publisher contacted me. They knew that I did a lot in comics. They said, "We need an illustrator for a couple of our kids' books. Would you help me find somebody? Because I just don't have a lot of contacts." So I was a headhunter, right? And I just did it for free. I said, "You bet, I'll just do it for you." And I found him an artist. It's the artist in my book, Rich Solding. And it worked out great. He did several of their works. And about 6 months later, the person who contacted me said, "Hey, I just want you to know that's really going well for us. We have a great relationship with this illustrator, and we really appreciate it." And we were just talking. And I said, "Well, that's great. I like to write too." "You do?" "Well, yeah, I have a degree in creative writing." "Oh, I thought you just wrote about comics." No, I do a lot of writing." And then I pitched an idea. I said, "Well, here's a story I've always wanted to write." And she goes, "Huh, we would publish that." So they sent me a contract. Now there's a little more.
That normally does not.
That doesn't happen. That's pretty rare. That's pretty rare. Yeah. Usually you have to write something and submit it to them, a manuscript, and then they will look at it and see. But originally what we had decided to do was a comic. So I wrote a comic script, about 60 pages, and she's like, "I love this. This would be great." And it's this story, but just the first couple of chapters.